So I went ahead and bought an Oura ring, and I've been wearing it for about 2 weeks now. So on this video, I'm gonna share what my experience with it has been so far. I'm at a stage right now where I'm obsessively tracking as many metrics as I can, just because I want to optimize myself to the fullest. And recently I noticed that as I've gotten closer to 30 years old, unless I get at least 7 hours of sleep, I don't feel as energized as I used to when I was younger, and I could get by with 6 hours or less. That's what prompted me to buy the ring in the first place. So I started researching ways to optimize my sleep and track my sleep, and I came across the Oura ring. I've never been one to wear rings, but it seemed to have pretty good reviews and seemed to be a pretty accurate way of measuring sleep, so I went ahead and bought one. Upon ordering, you're gonna get what's known as a sizing kit, which is this right here. The sizing kit is nothing more than just an array of plastic rings of different sizes, so you can try them out and see which one fits best for you. Now, when I was trying them on, since I've never been a ring guy up to now, I found that I was stuck between two sizes. I really didn't want to risk picking a size that would mess up the measurements when I got my actual ring. So I picked both sizes. I tried one on each hand just to see how it felt and how comfortable they were. And ultimately, I decided to go with the smaller ring size, which in hindsight, I'm glad I did, because when I got the real ring, it's not as tight of a fit as the plastic rings, which is good because it's more comfortable and it gets the measurements that I wanted. So once you pick your size, you go to the website, you confirm your size, you submit your order, and then a couple days later, you're gonna receive the real ring, which is gonna come in a box like this. And inside, it's gonna be the ring and the charger. You also have to download the Oura app, which is the app that syncs to the ring to keep track of all your metrics and give you progress reports on how you're doing. It comes with a monthly membership, so be warned because you're gonna have to pay for another subscription app. Pros and cons. I'm gonna start with the pros so far. I have to say I am pretty impressed by how accurate the sleep measurements are. I compare it to my personal assessment of how I sleep, just gauging how many times I wake up, approximately what time I go to sleep, what time I wake up, and I compare it to the report that the app shows, and I have to say it's pretty accurate. It also gives you like a score based on how well you rested, and typically it's very consistent with how I feel, because I had a bad night's sleep and the score was super low and I felt like shit, and I've had really high scores where I feel really good and energized. So I have to say it's very accurate in that regard. I like how it breaks down the different stages of sleep in the app. It goes into light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, and it also gives you a bit of an explanation as to what occurs during each stage and how you can better improve each stage, which I like learning things, and it's been useful to have that additional information. Battery life is also surprisingly very, very good. It lasts for about a week continuous use, and charge time, it's only about 40 minutes, which is very, very nice. You can just charge it while you're sitting down working and then you put it back on. Super nice. It's not uncomfortable at all. Plus it looks good. It's a good accessory. I wasn't much of a ring wearer person, but I've gotten used to it and I actually like wearing it now. Now onto the cons. The Oura ring also measures your caloric burn and steps taken throughout the day. But I found this to be somewhat inconsistent, because there's times where I've been just on my desk, just typing away, and the ring registers my hand movement as steps. And I've been sitting on my ass and I get to 10,000 steps somehow. Which, if you were looking to also track your steps using the ring, I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best accessory for that. Oura does suggest that the most accurate measurements come from your index finger, and to test this out, I've tried wearing the ring on different fingers, my middle finger and my ring finger, and I've noticed there is a slight discrepancy. It is true that the most accurate measurements come from the index fingers, because one time I wore the ring on my middle finger while I was working out, and it did not register that I worked out at all. So that's something to keep in mind. It only happened once, but normally the app does a good job of noticing that my heart rate went up and that I actually exerted myself during that period of time. But I've noticed it's more accurate on the index finger. The monthly membership, of course, is going to be a con to a lot of people as well. And lastly, I have to say another con would be that for working out, especially if you're doing strength training, I've had to get used to wearing hand wraps or gloves on my hand because I really don't want to scratch the ring, but I want to at least track some ballpark numbers of my workouts. So that's something that I've had to get used to, but it's not really that big of a deal, but maybe it is to you, so keep that in mind. But despite that, I've yet to have the ring bother me while I'm lifting weights, or even if I'm boxing. I've worn it while boxing and it doesn't really bother that much at all. So that's actually, I should include that in the pros. So that's actually really, really good. So far, summing the 2 weeks up, I have to say I'm pretty pleased with the ring because I solely bought it to track my sleep. The additional metrics that it tracks are just a bonus to me. And even if I wanted to track those metrics, the way I look at them is that I want to have an idea of the numbers. I don't necessarily care about the exact steps that I take in a day or the exact calories that I burn in a day, but just as long as it's a pretty close enough number to gauge if I'm making progress or not towards a particular goal, then that's my interest personally. But the sleeping measurements, which are the ones that I was interested, are pretty accurate. So it does its main function very well, I have to say. That's my review up to this point, guys. I do plan on making another update about a few weeks from now because there's some metrics that the ring tracks that aren't available until you've worn the ring for an extended period of time. So I plan on making an update once I have that data available and just to see if the trends stay consistent so far. But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions at all, drop them in the comments and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you got some value out of it. Thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next one.